Kirk trying to win it to Thielen, caught at the 5!
I got 3 words for you. You like that?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Skull Network. My name is Nick, and welcome back to the weekly NFL Picks segment on the channel. This marks week number 15. Again, we are super close to the end, like I've been saying the last few videos, and let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the picks. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Chargers impressed me last week. They were able to finally win a close game. It seemed like the first time in forever they were able to do that, but the Raiders in this case, this is one of those cases of one of these teams is clearly better than the other, and also fighting for a playoff spot, because Las Vegas is not out of it. I'm going to make this easy on myself. I'm picking the Raiders. Now we have 2 Saturday games to talk about, actually. The first of those being the Bills and the Broncos. Now, the Broncos, Drew Lock, 4 touchdowns last week. Very impressive against Carolina. But the Bills, Josh Allen, I mean, he's probably going to end up being top 5 in MVP voting, and he has really started to heat things back up towards the end of the season here. And the Bills are working very well, and I don't see the Bills having much trouble in this one. I'm taking the Bills. And rounding off the Saturday games, we have the Packers versus the Carolina Panthers. Panthers, as we know, got a little bit routed by Denver last week and Drew Lock. And the Packers, they are now the number 1 seed in the NFC conference, and they're going to be fighting as hard as ever to now keep that spot from New Orleans. This is one of those situations, again, like I said earlier, the Packers are just a straight up better team. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, still deadly as ever. I am taking the Green Bay Packers. And we're going to move on to the Sunday slate of games, starting off with the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, man, they looked extremely good last week, putting up 44. And the Texans, I definitely got that pick wrong. I will say that. Again, this is one of those situations. The Colts are still fighting for the AFC South with Tennessee, and the Texans, they're basically on their way out. Obviously, they're out of the playoffs, and I just don't see the Colts having a tough time with this one. I will be taking Indianapolis. Now we're moving on to the Lions and the Tennessee Titans, and like the Colts before, the Titans are still fighting for the AFC South, and while I was kind of wrong a couple weeks ago when I said Derrick Henry would get into a terrifying mode where he couldn't be stopped, because literally that next game, he put up like 60 yards, 200 plus yards and 2 touchdowns last game, and I don't see him slowing down much at all. The Lions, they could possibly put up a fight and keep this close. They just tend to do that with basically anybody for some reason, but Derrick Henry is going to be winning this game for the Titans. Now we're moving on to the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings, and with this one, who do you think I'm going to pick? Obviously, the Vikings need to win out to have any shot at the playoffs, and they know that. They've already beat the Bears once at Soldier Field, which is something they never do. Now playing at US Bank Stadium, sure, it's Mitchell Trubisky this time, and he has had luck against us in the past, but I just see the Vikings winning this one because what the hell else do you expect from me? What do you want me to say? I'm picking the Vikings. Now this one is going to be my upset of the week. This is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Washington football team, and that defense from Washington has really stepped it up the last few weeks. They are fighting to win that NFC East, and as much as we want to rat on the NFC East, it's actually going to be probably the best division to watch towards the later part of the season here, because everyone is just so bad and everyone is so close together in record because they haven't been winning many games. Now, I understand Seattle is still fighting for the NFC West, but I don't know. Something about this game just seems like it could be a trap game a little bit. I don't think Washington is bad enough for this to be considered a trap game, but just the stakes here, I think Washington can pull this one out, and I'm picking the football team. Now we're moving on to an AFC East battle. This is the Patriots versus the Dolphins, and the Dolphins still are in contention for the playoffs, whereas the Patriots, they are on the outside looking in at the moment. Cam Newton, as we have seen the last few weeks, still not performing great, and that Patriots team just kind of not what we're used to them being, as we've already known at this point. And the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa fighting for that playoff spot. I don't have a lot to say on this one, but I will be taking the Dolphins. Now we're moving on to the Jaguars and the Ravens. Jaguars, you've lost 12 in a row. I don't know if you might win another one, especially with the resurgence of Lamar Jackson, or at least the somewhat resurgence from what it looked like after he went and had to go to the bathroom for a little bit so Trace McSorley could go in. I don't know what that was about, but that was an incredible game on Monday Night Football between the Ravens and the Browns. And the Ravens, they're going to have an easy time with this, taking Baltimore. Now we're moving on to the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Personally, from my standpoint of a Vikings fan watching Tampa Bay play last week, this is definitely a game that Atlanta could come in and win. I understand Atlanta has not been the best team this season. They just lost to Los Angeles, and in a pretty embarrassing fashion. And they've had their history this season of just losing games that they really shouldn't have. But let's not forget, they also dropped 40 on the Vikings. Now, obviously, this team put up this many points, and now they're playing a team that same team, they dropped 40 points. You get what I mean. But I don't know why. This is another major upset for me, but I'm going to take Atlanta here. Now we're moving on to the Cowboys and the 49ers. 49ers at this point, basically out of it, but they've been playing relatively well. And the Cowboys, Andy Dalton had a resurgence against Cincinnati last week, and they are still in the playoff race. Like I said, the NFC East is heating up. As weird as it sounds, that's kind of what's happening right now. I feel like Dallas has a little bit of a fire under them, and I think that's enough to get them over the edge here against the 49ers. Even though I think the 49ers, at least they match up very well, they might be a little bit better in my eyes, but I think Dallas takes this one. Now we're looking at the Arizona Cardinals and the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jalen Hurts, wow. Congratulations on your first win against a damn good Saints team. I understand they don't have Drew Brees and all that, but at the same time, beating the Saints is beating the Saints, especially in your first career start. And you know what? Again, this NFC East thing is going crazy, and there's a fire underneath the Eagles, just like the Cowboys. And Arizona, again, they're fighting for a spot too. Obviously, the Vikings are right behind them. But damn, this might be another upset win for the NFC East. I for some reason, just feel like these teams are ready to win at this point in the season. And I think that the Eagles are going to take this one against Arizona in the Battle of the Birds. Okay, we are moving on to the New York Jets and the Los Angeles Rams. I'm not going to talk at all. I am picking the Rams. We have the Kansas City Chiefs against the New Orleans Saints, and if Drew Brees is in, I don't know if he's going to at this point, but this would be an incredible game. The Chiefs, I think in their last 21 games, they are 20-1, and as we know, the Saints just dropped a game to the Eagles. Now granted, the Eagles are looking a little better at this point, but that's still a little cause for concern, and Pat Mahomes still playing MVP football, Travis Kelce also playing MVP football, that's pretty crazy, Tyreek. You guys get the whole spiel. I say it almost every time I talk about the Chiefs. I don't think they have a big problem with this one, even though it is New Orleans and they're a great team. I'm picking Kansas City. The Browns and the Giants will be playing on Sunday Night Football this week, and as I mentioned with the Ravens earlier, the Browns played that incredible game, and it looks like Baker Mayfield is truly the answer for this team. He is ready to take this team to the playoffs for the first time since, 1998, whatever it was, and you know what? There's still a chance they win the division too. And this Giants team is probably one of the only NFC East teams that I don't have a lot of faith in this week, especially because they're playing a great team like the Browns. I'll be taking Cleveland. And rounding things out on Monday Night Football, we have the Steelers versus the Bengals. Again, as I keep saying, Brandon Allen, not the winning formula here. Obviously, he's not supposed to be. But the Steelers, they're a great team. They've lost 2 in a row. But this is Cincinnati we're talking about. There's no competition here. Really, I don't see an upset coming at all, and I'm going to be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's going to wrap everything up for Week 15 NFL picks. Guys, if you thought any of these picks were great, or if you thought they were awful, let me know in the comments down below. You know I love talking football with anyone that wants to at any given moment. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the button down below to subscribe. If you like the video, make sure you give it a like. If you like the video, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to share it, go ahead. No one is stopping you. Share it with whoever you want, wherever you want. Crack through around the corner. That's your best option. You guys already know. My name is Nick, and this has been Week 15 NFL Picks, and I will see you guys all in the recap between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears coming out on Monday. Adios.